48 underclassmen entered the NBA draft, and the first 9 picks were either a freshman, sophomore, or junior, including the #1 overall pick in Anthony Bennett. Here's a look at the current top 5 projected by DraftExpress.com. Kansas freshman Joel Embiid, the #1 overall pick right now, followed by teammate Andrew Wiggins and fellow freshmen Jabari Parker and Julius Randle on the list as well. So let's go to the source of this mock draft, Jonathan Givony from DraftExpress.com, and let's start at the top. Joel Embiid wasn't expected to be grabbing the headlines at Kansas, much less nationally. So how has he emerged as your #1 overall pick?
Well, he's having an amazing year so far. He's been a major surprise. He started the year in the top 5 or 6 on our board, but he's been way better than anybody could have expected, considering his limited experience level. He's you just don't find guys who are 7 feet tall and as mobile as he is, and just his ability to block shots and his offensive skill level, which has been surprising, really puts him in a class of his own. Everybody's looking for a starting caliber center in the NBA, and they're just the drop off from him to the next best center in the draft is huge.
So no one will argue with what Doug McDermott has done in college, one of the most consistent scorers in recent history, but that doesn't always guarantee success at the next level. So where do you see him fitting in the NBA?
Well, we have him projected in the lottery right now. I think he's one of the safest picks in the draft. He's a guy that he's going to come in and be able to score right away. Stretch fours are very much in vogue in today's NBA. Everybody likes to play pick and roll so much that you need to have a four-man that can bring the defense away from the basket and open up the paint for your guards. And he's one of the best shooters you'll find. Just what he did this summer at USA Basketball, going up against NBA stars and holding his own for an entire week, I think really helped his stock.
All right, so Jonathan, this week Kobe Bryant had some pretty interesting comments, and he said that basically he believes players are more successful coming out of high school than college. What's your take on his comments?
I think that it wasn't really well articulated, but I do agree with the premise of what he's saying, that elite players, guys like him, Kevin Garnett, LeBron, they don't need to go to college in order to be successful. Now, I think that people are confusing that a little bit with, that should nobody go to college? And obviously that's not what his argument is, but I agree with him. I don't think that Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker, Julius Randle, I think that they could go straight to the NBA and they'd be absolutely fine.
Yeah, Jonathan, it got me to thinking, Kobe's comments, and I was thinking maybe they're not learning in college. I don't think that's the argument to have, but maybe the college game is impeding the progress of these kids to become NBA-ready players because the rules are simply so different. So they're adjusting from high school to a college game that's vastly different from an NBA game. I mean, you look at some of these rules. The three-point line is a lot longer in the NBA game. So guys that are decent three-point shooters in college, not nearly as good in the NBA because it's a longer range. Quarters and halves, just how you manage yourself through that game. That's a big difference. Fouls before disqualification, how to manage yourself within fouls. The defensive 3 seconds, it's a completely different mindset defensively. And the biggest one, the tempo of an NBA game in comparison to a college game because of the shot clock. 35 seconds in college. There's ball stoppers who can operate. You got to be quicker in the NBA because of a 24-second shot clock. I think those rules make it these kids get comfortable in adjusting college for a freshman and sophomore season. Then it's a whole new world by the time they get to the NBA. What do you think about that?
I agree with you 100%. Everything you said, spot on. And it's really hard. It's really hard to argue with going to a professional environment where you're dedicated to your craft 24/7. Going to class. I mean, that could be beneficial for some people. But if you're already an elite NBA talent, I do think your time is best served being around NBA coaches in an NBA weight room and just learning the tricks of that game, which, like you said, is so much different than the college game.
You do have to grow up quicker. There's no question about that. Jonathan, thanks very much. Appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me.